Democrats have a whole lot less to be thankful for this Thanksgiving season, and for that, I am truly thankful. All right, so we're going to dive into it today. Listen, Democrats are really suffering. First off, they suffered a resounding defeat in Louisiana over the weekend. For those of you that did not know that, they lost their elected statewide offices in Louisiana. We're going to be talking about that. Joe Biden's poll numbers are even worse for Democrats than they might think. Plus, they're battling with this pro-Hamas caucus, also known as the Squad, and a bunch of their, their moron voters that are basically pro-Hamas, that are really making people take a second look at Democrats. We'll get into that. Also, Speaker Mike Johnson has released approximately 40,000 hours of J6 video. That isn't going to bode well for the Democrats, as we'll show you coming up on the Carl Jackson Show podcast. All right, guys, welcome to the podcast, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Guys, make sure you go check out the movie Police State, policestatefilm.net, policestatefilm.net, policestatefilm.net. Go check it out and see it. This will be a great time to go rent it or buy the DVD at policestatefilm.net. The film was made by or produced by Dinesh D'Souza with the help of Dan Bongino. And guys, what you're going to see are real life scenarios or real life interviews, I should say, in this film that are going to shake you to your core. We are diving into a police state. We are headed that way. You have consultants and actors in the film, Stephen Friend, Kyle Seraphin, that play a part, as well as some dramatic acting as well. So go check it out. Also, support our friends at MyPillow.com, Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com. So thankful for Mike and his willingness to stand up for freedom and to fight for freedom. But also, he's got great deals available for you, the listener. All you have to do is go to the radio podcast square at the top of the page and enter my name, Carl, at MyPillow.com. And then voila, all of these deals will be available to you, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. All of My Pillow products come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So check them out, mypillow.com. Okay, guys, the Democrat Party, again, as you heard me say at the top of the show, they are in a heap of trouble. Starting off this weekend, we had the Speaker Mike Johnson that released a bunch of J6 videos. I'm going to get into that. 40,000 hours. This is going to hurt the Democrat Party. This is going to destroy the narrative that a bunch of right-wingers, a bunch of Trump supporters were out there attacking the Capitol. You can see that people like Liz Cheney are still showing the edited video. I'll get into that as well. Elon Musk, a bunch of advertisers have abandoned Elon Musk on X. I'm going to get into that because that is very important, guys. It's an election season, and make no mistake about it. There is a plan at work from the left. So many advertisers are abandoning X, and I got a feeling there's some backdoor pressure for them to abandon Twitter. So we'll talk about that. Twitter being, even though it's not completely a free speech platform, it's far more of a free speech friendly platform than different places that are completely run by the left, including Google with their algorithms and such, Facebook, etc. All right, so we'll get into that. But also, Joe Biden's poll numbers are even worse than the left may think. So this is why they're wanting to abandon Joe Biden. All of a sudden, you see a bunch of Democrats calling to abandon Joe Biden, or we got to go with someone else. And it's getting really, really late in the season, so it's going to be increasingly difficult for Democrats to do it, but they may have to pull the plug on Joe Biden. We'll get into that. And also the Louisiana state races. I tell you what, though, let's start with this, because there's been some new video that has been released on the J6 mostly peaceful protest. And this is a very damning video that we've not seen. I think this is a very important video because here's what I wonder. You guys have all seen the video, and it's out there for plenty to see. Liz Cheney and other people on the left are putting the video out there, and that is a bunch of J6 protesters kind of barnstorming the Capitol. First, you need to know this. If you've never been to Washington, D.C., if you've never been to the Capitol, it is massive. You can literally be on one side of the Capitol and have no clue of what's going on the other side. It is massive. A lot of people that have not been there do not understand this. So you could have one set of people on one side, another set of people on the other side, and neither side has a clue as to what the other side is doing. This is very important because when people are coming up the stairway, you have to wonder. People like Ray Epps were in that particular crowd, you know, cheering people on. We got to go past them and all this kind of nonsense. We got to go into the Capitol. You have to wonder with the videos that are completely edited that are being put out by Liz Cheney. Remember, they added. They brought in a Hollywood producer of sorts to edit sound into those videos to make them seem more, you know, dangerous and crazy and just for effects. All right. Now, here's what I want to play for you. This is a real. This is a real video. Oh, also, I didn't mention how many feds. I mentioned Ray Epps, but how many feds? How many feds? Because we do know there were feds in the J6 crowds, and I got a feeling it was a lot of the feds that were egging protesters on in hopes that they would follow suit to barnstorm the Capitol. All right. I truly believe that is what happened. And I do believe that those are the videos that Liz Cheney are most likely to share. But keep in mind, even when Liz Cheney shares those videos, those few seconds of video, there's over 40,000 hours, folks. What, she's got a few seconds, maybe a few minutes, 40,000 hours. Why does Liz Cheney so use just a few edited videos? The Kissingers of the world, the Democrats. Listen to this video. This video is absolutely amazing. Check it out. Check it out. This is a J6 protester going up to the U.S. Capitol Police and telling them what the heck are they doing? Call for backup when he sees other protesters misbehaving. So check out this video. It gives you just different insights to the fact that the vast majority of people there were mostly peaceful protesters. There were nearly 1 million people there that day. You had a few hundred that got out of control. So listen to this protester. Let's roll the tape. And we got plenty of video for you. So stay tuned. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. If you want to see the video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to our Rumble channel. Guys, we need you on both. I don't trust YouTube. Not going to lie to you, but you all know that. They are of the left, right? They are a subsidiary of Google, partnership of Google, whatever they are, owned by Google. So make sure, please subscribe to the our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show, because we do need you there too. It's the only way that we grow. I hate that we're in this type of relationship, but it is what it is, all right? And then also the Rumble channel. Please subscribe. If you subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Rumble too, or subscribe to either or. We would sincerely appreciate that. All things social media at The Carl Jackson Show. I'm talking too much, Gabe. Let's roll the first video.
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. Call for backup. Get some help down here. And if they don't want to get you backup, they obviously don't give a shit about you.
All right, let's play. And Gabe has some more that he wants to show us, and then we'll just react to them. I've got stories that I want to bring you while Gabe is bringing the next video up. Let me go to this story. Let me go to this story with Elon Musk. If I can get my, it always happens like this. If I can get my computer to unfreeze, it's always like when I want to bring you guys news and information, then all of a sudden, it's gone. I kind of think Gabe does that to try to make me look bad. But anyway, it is what it is. Oh, I do have to give you this news. Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, for those of you that may not have heard by now, has passed away at the age of 96. You guys may know that the former President Jimmy Carter has been in hospice care since February. So he's been in hospice for quite some time. She was just put in the last week or so, and she's now passed away. It says here, this according to ABC News, that the former First Lady, Rosalynn Carter, and a devoted wife to President Jimmy Carter, and a devoted advocate, it says, for mental health, died peacefully at home yesterday, Sunday. The Carter Center announced she was 96. Rosalynn was my equal partner in everything I ever accomplished, according to the former president. She gave me wise guidance and encouragement when I needed it. As long as Rosalynn was in the world, I always knew somebody loved and supported me, close quote. She is also survived by her children, Jack, Chip, Jeff, and Amy, 11 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren, the Carter Center said. So, obviously, we didn't agree with their politics, but I love their love story, the fact that they were married for so many years, and obviously they stood by each other's side through thick and thin, and 11 grandchildren, 14 great-grandchildren. They're going to leave a pretty amazing legacy. Okay, so also let me just bring you up to date with what's happening with Israel, and also these Houthi rebels, these Houthi terrorist rebels, have seized a cargo ship that was owned, or that is owned, by a Jewish person in Britain. I believe it's Britain owned, and they were leasing it out, I believe, to Japan for shipping. But anyway, these Houthi terrorists, have seized that cargo ship in the Red Sea. And guys, let me tell you something. What you're seeing, this rise in anti-Semitism, as well as those love letters that happened to be released while Xi Jinping was in town. I'm telling you, you are seeing a full and all-out assault, not just on Israelis, but I believe ultimately Americans. I mean, the Houthis were translated. I saw someone translate on Twitter how basically they hate the Jews. They hate the Jews. They hate America, essentially. And I'm paraphrasing, but they're coming for us both. But I do recognize the rise in anti-Jewism across the world. It's almost as if it's been unleashed with Joe Biden in the White House. It just took this Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, and then all of a sudden, man, it's everywhere. And then at the I forget the name of the hospital, God forgive me. But anyway, I've been tweeting on it, Al Sharif. Anyway, I forget the name of the hospital. But there's video evidence that the IDF has been releasing that shows Hamas terrorists running into the hospital. One guy they have on a bed with a leg chopped off. He is a hostage. And the people that are pro-Hamas are saying, look, they were taking people to the hospital. You idiots, they weren't taking people to the hospital. There was a Taiwanese woman, I believe, that they were literally running and dragging through the hospital. She was fine, but they were, I think, taking her underground. They were deciding who they were going to take hostage, who they were not going to take hostage, and that hospital is a large part of it. This from Katie Pavlich on Town Hall. Israel looks to target Hamas leadership hiding away in Qatar. Good. So as far as Israel is concerned, they're not just going after the guy with the AK-47 in his hand. They're going after these tycoons now that have been stealing foreign aid relief from countries like the United States that have been sending aid to Gaza. So they're living lavishly in Qatar. How I don't even give a flip how it's pronounced. But they're living lavishly at hotels there. Well, Israel says they're going to be taken care of as well. So glad to hear that. Okay, so all right, and let me just share this story with Elon Musk, and then I want to go on to the next video, and then I want to talk to you about how some polling here. And guys, I do take a lot of the polling with a grain of salt, but I do believe that they show trends. And based upon the trends that they're showing, Democrats are very concerned with what they're seeing with Joe Biden and his poll numbers. Let me see this. Okay, X to file. So today, Elon Musk is going to be filing a lawsuit. Hat tip to National Review. So Elon Musk announced today that he will file what he's calling a thermonuclear lawsuit, quote unquote. And what if I said it like George W. Bush? How did he say it, Gabe? Nuclear. Okay, anyway. Elon Musk announced X will file the thermonuclear lawsuit on today against Media Matters for America after one of its reports prompted multiple corporations to pull their advertising from the billionaire's rebranded social media platform. Musk, who owns X, took issue with the liberal media watchdog story that claimed ads from top corporate brands were running, quote, alongside white nationalists and pro-Nazi content. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. An official statement from X stated Media Matters, quote, completely misrepresented the real user experience on X, quote unquote, leading to IBM, Apple, Disney, Lionsgate Entertainment, and others boycotting the platform. This is just cover for them. These are all left-wing, radical left-wing corporations, in my opinion, that have been kowtowing to China. And basically, this was a warning shot, in my opinion, from Media Matters. Hey, get out of this business with X. They do not want this free speech platform to thrive. All right, so I think that's what's happening there. Elon Musk will take him to court. I know he said some controversial things last week. Guys, this is what free speech is about. It's not always pretty. We're not always going to agree. But you want to have free speech. And right now, Twitter, X as it's called now, formerly known as Twitter, exists as a kind of a town hall, if you will. I mean, sometimes there's crazy, nasty stuff on there. There's no doubt about it. But free speech is free speech. And the beauty of free speech is we can exchange ideas, hopefully in a civil manner, but sometimes it's not civil, but it's where you go to persuade, share your points of view, and it's kind of become a town hall X for that. It's where people that are really involved in politics go for the most part. But anyway, I wish Elon Musk, I wish him victory in his lawsuit against Media Matters, a complete trash organization. All right, let's play this next video. Por favor, Gabe. And I'm just going to react to the videos because I really don't know what Gabe is bringing at me. They threw me a lot of videos this morning, and I didn't have a chance to look through all of them. But honestly, I'll just react as you react. All right. So let's roll it, Gabe.
Are trying to burn down our capital, and I did not come here for that. It ain't patriots up there anymore. If you go look, they look like Antifa. They don't look like me. They don't look like you guys. It is time. They are going to be hunting the families down, trying to go home now. They got us here after dark. I see a lot of women. I see a lot of kids. Get your families home. Get out of here.
This is some of the most important video that I've seen. Listen, patriots know patriots. You can look at people and just be like, something ain't right about that fool. We witnessed, as a matter of fact, Gabe, let's play that next, the Antifa stuff. We witnessed the Antifa and the BLM riots across the country. We can tell, right, what these Antifa rioters look like. I tell you, a buddy of mine went to Washington that day. Thank God he was on the other side. As soon as Trump gave his speech, he left and returned home. So he never even went towards the Capitol. But he told me, this was before they started arresting people. He was like, man, I got a funny feeling. There were cats in the crowd that were wearing, this is what he told me. Eyewitness testimony, all right? He said, and I realize it's anecdotal, but I trust this guy. I trust this guy with my life. That's how much I trust this guy. And he said, Carl, because I was going to ride there with him. He said, man, we just left. After the speech, we bounced. He said, we didn't even know any of this stuff had happened. We didn't hear, there were so many people there, and the vast majority of people just left. We didn't even know that people went to the Capitol. He was like, nobody around me went to the Capitol except I saw these guys walk the other way. And he said, when I saw them, he was like, they just didn't seem like they fit. But I didn't think much of it. You know, they were wearing MAGA caps and all this kind of stuff. They were all decked out in MAGA caps, hats, so on, etc. But he said, but in then, they took it off. And they had like black and they had camouflage. And he said it was just kind of weird. But after the rally ended, right? After the speeches ended, they took it off and they started heading in a different direction. And he was like, I just thought that was weird. This was before all of this J6 stuff happened. But he was like, but that was it. He was like, that was the only thing. And, you know, at the time, he didn't really think much of it. Man, so just absolutely astonishing. But you saw the last video. Look at the last video. I guarantee you this guy hit the nail on the head. I want to know how many paid Antifa rioters were there on J6. How many were there? This is what we have to get to the bottom of. How many were there? How many of those people were feds? Christopher Wray has somewhat admitted, right, that there were feds there. He has no clue how many. Why not? Give me a break. They know how many people were there, and we should know. We should know if it was Antifa that was breaking into the Capitol for the most part, and then you got a few knucklehead, unfortunately, J6 protesters that saw them doing it, and then in the moment they got lost. Listen, I understand that people should be punished for their crimes, but these were not insurrectionists, all right? And then there's a lot of people that were there, in my opinion. I truly believe, like this gentleman said, that they were not patriots. They don't look like us. They're Antifa. Get your family out of here. Wow. Wow. Damning video. Damning video. All right, now, here is Antifa, right? So this is what Antifa did. Did you see anything like this on J6 or for that matter, any other time? Notice how they're focusing. Notice how they're focusing on, I'm sorry here, let me get rid of this. Notice how they're focusing on just on J6. All right, J6 was one day. And I think that whole riot was, a span of less than an hour and maybe a couple of hours of people walking through the Capitol, many people that were ushered in. We went months. You're talking about a day or a couple hours. We went months of watching this type of rioting on television and wondering why no one, including President Trump, did not put a stop to this. Like, it was insane. It's like I was watching, I watched the LA riots. I grew up during that time. My girlfriend at the time literally lived right around the corner from the Reginald Denny situation where all of that stuff was set off. I mean, I lived that. And they brought the National Guards in. They used the Insurrection Act. George H.W. Bush did. And then we watched this for months while nobody did anything. While Democrats said they were mostly peaceful protests. While literally CNN, MSNBC would be filming fires breaking out behind their backs. It's insane. Now let's roll this video. This is NBC News at the time during the 2020 Democrat, BLM, and Antifa riots. Let's roll the tape, please, Gabe.
Burning cars and smashed windows. A small group of protesters dressed in black, their faces covered, armed with hammers and bricks. Facing off with thousands of officers on site, many in riot gear, confronting them with flashbang grenades and pepper spray.
All of a sudden, the police officers started to spray pepper spray, and they got our audio technician. They're coming. See us running because they're going to throw more flashbangs.
The chaotic scene just blocks outside the secure area of the inauguration and parade route.
I personally have anti-establishment slants, but I don't think that this is anything that I want to be a part of.
All right. So there you go. There you go. That was Washington, D.C. That doesn't include the other places across the country in blue cities where you were seeing like Los Angeles and Portland and Seattle, where you were seeing, remember Chop, or was it Chop or whatever, they literally set up camp in the middle of the town square. I mean, this is absolutely insane. So that was real rioting that we saw for months on end. All right, now let me bring you another story. This is not a great Thanksgiving week for Democrats. With these videos being released, here's what I do want to say about the videos, all right? This is going to be very important. I'm glad that Speaker Michael Johnson kept his promises, all right? I don't believe the videos will do much in the long run for the nation unless we dismantle the FBI or at the very least disarm them, as explained by Stephen Friend, the FBI whistleblower, former FBI whistleblower, now working for the Center of Renewing America. I believe he was also in Police State, the Police State film. So Police State, Dinesh D'Souza's Police State film. So policestatefilm.net for those of you that want to check that out or rent that. So, all right. So these aren't going to do much in the long run unless we use them to take action. So it can't just be releasing the video. All right. We can't. I'm not settling for crumbs from the Republican Party. This should have been done a long time ago. I'm glad they are. Mike Johnson is releasing the video. I'm very thankful for that. They're still running the country. I mean, they didn't There was no spending battle, right? So we're still screwed on that end. So I think they're releasing the tapes, giving us a little bit, right? Giving us a few crumbs to work with. So at least we're appreciative of a little snack, I guess, along the way. But I'm hoping this will benefit some of the J6 political prisoners, just like we saw the shaman, Jacob Chansley, and Tucker Carlson when he played that video where literally you had U.S. Capitol Police ushering him around. He wanted to go pray in the room. They did that, walked him around the Capitol, so on, etc. And then they lied and said the guy was an insurrectionist. And he completely was. And I forget how much time he spent behind bars, but it was a significant time. Now, also seeing this video, this is not a great week for Democrats, because what did Nancy Pelosi know? When did she know it? That's what I want to know. How many feds were in the crowd as well? And now hearing that or watching that last video, how many Antifa members were there too? These are questions that need to be answered. Also, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, I believe, need to pay a criminal price, or I think they need to be sued for damages by some of the political prisoners. I think they need to be sued into bankruptcy. I really do. They are despicable people. I used to admire Liz Cheney. I thought she was going to go far in the Republican Party. I thought she might ascend to be the first female president of the United States. I had no idea that she was a complete and utter scandal. Anyway, let's go ahead and let me talk about this real quick. Biden's poll numbers, and then I want to get to this Newsmax story, because we kicked some booty over the weekend. So again, the Democrat Party, they have not had a great weekend, headed into Thanksgiving. All right. They don't have a whole lot to be thankful for headed into Thanksgiving. First off, they're completely mad at Elon Musk. We touched on that. And now they're trying to destroy X. That's what they're trying to do. They want to take X down because they need free speech squash. Democrats need free speech squash in order for them to win. They cannot beat us in the arena of ideas. They cannot beat us with ideas. So it's get people angry. It's tell people that we're racist, we're bigots, we're xenophobes, and now we're insurrectionists. But they can't beat us in the arena of ideas. They can't beat us on the issue of rule of law. They can't beat us on the issue of life. They can't beat us on the issue of free speech. They can't beat us on the issue of the economy and taxation, or immigration, or what our military should look like, or energy, or education, all of the things that matter, right, for a civil society. They can't talk about those issues because they are destroying the country. But they can get you mad. And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. Where did I say I was going to go, Gabe? All right, poll numbers. Real quick. This is a hat tip to the Federalist. Basically, these polls existed in Quinnipiac, but they wrote a column on it. And here's what it says. According to recent polls, GOP frontrunner and former President Trump would beat Biden if the 2024 election were held today. A Quinnipiac poll out last Wednesday shows Biden with 46%, Trump with 48% among registered voters. Now, that's key. I'll explain why. Still within the margin of error and too close to call. However, new Fox News poll also on Wednesday shows that in a head-to-head, the former president would prevail with 50% to Biden's 46%, a number Trump has never garnered in a Fox poll going back to October 2015. Now, I urge you to take caution when it comes to these polls. First off, these are registered voters, not likely voters. Obviously, many registered voters will vote. I would guess that many registered voters on the Democrat side will vote too. It's a year out. Democrats will find a way. They have a system in place. They literally have a get out the vote effort that we're paying for via taxpayer dollars, where they're using the entire federal bureaucracy for a get out the vote effort. Whatever bureaucracy, whatever office of management, whatever it is that they have personnel there that are literally registering people to vote, especially people that are dependent upon welfare. All right, so I hesitate to mention these polls, but when Democrats look at them and they see the trend, given how much they persecuted Trump and his family, they're running scared. The column goes on to say there are deeper and far more. Wednesday shows that in the head-to-head, the former president would prevail. Okay, I did read that. Do these numbers and thin margins mean anything? Maybe not. And listen, this is what I caution you. We're a year out. All right. But there are deeper and far more meaningful insights to mine for the survey, and they don't spell good things for the Democrat Party, the columnist says. For instance, it's worth noting that Not only does Biden appear to be losing generally to Trump, but the incumbent is losing his own dependable voters to his rival. Polls show Biden is hemorrhaging Black, Hispanic, suburban, and young voters, all demographics that reliably vote Democrat. Now, I've got to look into those polls. I know that the Democrat Party is they're upset with Biden right now, but where those votes will go, I don't know. Many people are saying that the Democrat Party are losing Black votes. I don't know if that means they'll sit it out. I don't know if that means that they'll vote for Trump. Now, remember, in modern history, it was George W. Bush. They got the most Black votes in modern history. He got 14%. All right. So whereas Trump got 8% the first go round, he got 12% in 2020. So that's 12%. Some people are predicting that the Black vote could go as high as 30% for Donald Trump if he is to be elected. That's not going to happen. All right. I think that's just total BS. I think that's total wishful thinking. I do believe that we're at a Donald Trump or even a DeSantis, I do suspect that we would get upwards of 15%, which is huge, huge. I've heard some people say maybe as much as 20. That sounds more reasonable to me, even going as high as 20. 30, 40%, I think you're smoking crack. And we're not there yet, all right? Here's what else it says. It could have something to do with how Biden has handled major crises. He's either caused or exacerbated, according to Quinnipiac. Voters disapprove of his response to the Hamas attack and subsequent fallout. 54% disapprove to 37% that approve. Basically, he's got a pro-Hamas caucus. The Democrat Party are not having a great couple of weeks, actually. They don't know what to do, where now they have potential voters and young voters that are like, we like Hamas. Screw the Jews. That's who they're dealing with. These are their voters on college campuses. These are the people that they've raised up. And now you have Joe Biden in the White House that is signaling, listen, I stand with Israel, even though he doesn't. All right, let's be real with that, even though he doesn't. Oh, by the way, and I've got a story for you. I'll bring it on tomorrow about Anthony Blinken. And also, oh my goodness, have you guys heard of this? I'm branding it. I'm branding it this new doggy COVID that's out. Yeah, I'm K9 COVID. All right, we're going to talk about that. There's something fishy going on. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but we'll get into it to tomorrow's podcast. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast again, wherever you go to get your podcast, so you'll get it right in your inbox. You're not going to want to miss that show. I've been looking through different stuff that honestly we've been missing since the Israel-Hamas war has been going on, and I think Democrats want to keep us distracted from. But I will bring you that information tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned. Also, this article says, before we go to the next video, it could have something to do with how Biden has handled major crises. All right, again, caused or exacerbated. According to Quinnipiac, voters disapprove of his response to the Hamas attack. All right, I already said that. His economy, obviously, people are hurting. Doesn't matter what party you're in. When you can't afford to food and groceries and gas, and life gets, it's harder to, you don't have that excess money to spend. You start looking to blame somebody. And obviously, it is obviously Joe Biden is in the White House, and it is his policy ideas that have been implemented. Though to some degree, Republicans have tried to curtail it. They haven't done enough. Let's be real. All right. His border crisis. People are starting to feel the effects of that. New York is starting to feel the effects. And look at Mayor Eric Adams. They're discovering a lot of stuff on Mayor Eric Adams, right? He was speaking, the Negro was speaking out a little too much against the Biden administration, so they're going to go ahead and put him in check. They're going to go ahead and silence him. This is, man, Democrats don't play. Democrats don't play. Mayor Eric Adams is about to find out. FAFO, as they say. He is about to find out. Also, Biden's response to the Russia-Ukraine war. The implications are simple. According to the columnist at The Federalist, voters are confronting a rare moment. This is very important in U.S. history, in which they can actually compare what it's like to live under the leadership or lack thereof of the two major presidential candidates. Do they want Bidenomics or the affordable grocery and gas prices of the Trump era? Now, this is a very important point. Like the dumbest thing Biden could have done in his administration is you just get out of, even though Trump signed the CARES Act and really screwed himself, I think, in the 2020 election, because that opened the door for Democrats to, let's just say, do stuff they shouldn't have been doing. All right. But listen, Trump before that was absolutely amazing. His economy was amazing. The economy was going to come back. And then, unfortunately, Biden took office, or was placed into office, and then they continue with these unnecessary lockdowns, forcing people to get the jab, so on, etc., keeping kids out of school, and all of this stuff, right? But the problem was, we had just experienced the good life, essentially under the former president, with the exception of crazy spending that I wish he would have cut. But other than that, we were, he had finally sealed up the border. I mean, you remember the first 2 years of Trump's administration, we're going to do this with the border. Nothing was happening. It completely sucked. Finally, in the last couple of years of his presidency, I think he got the right people near him and around him, giving him better advice. He took on the issue more strongly and differently, and he got the border under control. So we experienced this, right? All right. Economy booming. And then all of a sudden Biden gets in and he tears it all down. So we get to see the difference right away, almost side by side. These people are retarded. All right. Anyway, the Trump-Biden decision is an increasingly easy calculation for voters to make, this person says. And that's true. This week, there have been murmurs of a potential challenger. Oh, that's another thing. Democrats deserve what they get. They had an opportunity, right? They didn't open up the primary. They didn't have to be stuck with Biden, but they wanted to close people out. And now with his diminishing health, with the world on fire right now, they made a very, very bad call, and they know it. And now it might be too late. So it's like, okay, what do we do? All of a sudden, these news stories are starting to come out. We got to get Joe Biden out of here. We got to get Joe Biden out of here. But it may be too late. Now, let's do this. Let's go back. I'm jumping here. Let's go back to video. This is more J6 video. Oh, look at, you've got to watch these videos. These videos should have been shown right away. They were not. Watch this video. Next one, Gabe. Man, look at that. Look at those cops and their riot gear inside of the Capitol building. Those freaking insurrectionists inside. Now, keep in mind, what did I say? These people could be walking inside the building, not knowing at all what's happening on one side of the building. Wherever they're being let in, nothing's happening. These are not the same people that you saw bombarding the other side of the Capitol. They're not. They're not. All right, now, here's some more bad news. Bad news for the Democrats, great news for us going into Thanksgiving. I was so happy to find this story, this story pop. Oh, look at this. Capitol police officer brings terrorist in. What is that? Let's go ahead and roll that, Gabe. Gabe is just popping up videos. He's like having fun today at work. Okay. Look at that. So the police officer, watch this. Let's play that again, Gabe. Go back and play that. I want to make sure that I saw what I thought I saw, if you don't mind, por favor. I want to see if he actually opens that fence. Okay, no, they opened it, but he's telling them to go. Directing them to go into the Capitol. Who is this? Who is this guy? Did they say don't go? I couldn't hear. Anyway, I couldn't tell. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But anyway, a lot more video there. Also, all right, so here was some devastating news. The Democrats are having a not so great Thanksgiving, leading up to Thanksgiving. All right, so they have a whole lot less to be thankful for. All right, now here's the story. Newsmax hat tip. So GOP secures all elected statewide offices in Louisiana. Here's an election, thank God, an off-year election where we scored big. All right, so starting in January, the GOP will control. Why don't you can just roll that video as just go ahead and roll it, Gabe. Just go ahead. I'll talk right over it. But here's the guy, apparently a insurrectionist, that the U.S. Capitol Police handcuffed at some point, and then they release him, all right? He gives them, watch this, gives the U.S. Capitol Police pounds. Must be a patriot that appreciates first responders. Watch this. Thanks the other guy. All right. And he's out. Wow. What an insurrectionist. Respect for cops he's showing. And then they go about their business. Nothing to worry about there. All right, he's gone. Now, all the video you'll see from Liz Cheney and the people on the left are the ones with the big flags and all of the noise and the theatrics. Those are the videos that FBI agents, I guarantee you, are in, and Antifa members. I guarantee you. I'd put my entire savings, my entire life savings, the whole $100 on that one, Gabe. I put the whole $100. 100. All right, now let's end with this. All right, this is some more good news for us, bad news for the Democrats. Hat tip newsbacks. GOP secures all elected statewide offices in Louisiana after Republican victories on Saturday. So again, starting in January, the GOP will control every elected statewide office in Louisiana after the Republicans swept 3 runoff races for the Attorney General, Secretary of State, and the Treasury on Saturday night. And hat tip to Scott Pressler, he of earlyvoteaction.org. He was talking this up, came on the Officer Tatum show with me, as well as my podcast, TV show and Salem show, to talk about these particular elections, and he was out working hard to get voters registered there as well. But thank God people did turn out. So Louisiana, after 8 years of having a Democrat on board as governor, the GOP won all statewide offices for the first time since 2015. They, in addition, hold 2/3. They have a supermajority in both chambers of the of Congress, or the state Congress. All right, so the state House and the state Senate. So they have a supermajority. Therefore, they have no excuse to make that state as red as it can ever get, to make it virtually impossible for a Democrat to ever win there. This is the mistake. A lot of you may not realize this, but we have I think it's 22, 23 states where Republicans control the governor's mansion and they control the state house and the state senate. We have it that way here in Florida. We use our power here, but a lot of states do not. It's insane. So even though they have super majorities, they won't yield that power. You have to yield that power. And watch out for these ballot initiatives and amendments. This is the only way the left can beat you, right? In these red states, they'll use these amendment processes. You're going to have to make the bar so high for those amendment processes to win. I'm sorry. And I don't believe it's taking anything away from the voters, because those amendments are meant to be confusing and misleading. They put like a sentence or two on the ballot because that's all they could fit. And then you go back and you read the actual amendment and it's nothing like what you think. Frankly, I think the amendment, whatever it says on that ballot, is what it should say in totality, and that is it. And frankly, I think it should be at least a 75% threshold. Shouldn't be, I think it should be 75%. I think the vast majority of voters, period, should want everything for those things to pass. All right, so now moving on. This was a historical election as well. In Louisiana, you have Liz Murrill, Nancy Landrieu. Apparently, both will have they'll have their first female general and the first woman elected as Secretary of State. I'm not an identity politics guy. I don't really give a flip, but this is historical, so I will mention it. We're not like Democrats. Once we mention it, it's done. But Democrats will keep this thing rolling for 25 years, but it's done. All right. So history has been made. Voila, just do your job. That's all I care about. All right. Now, also, I do want to caution you. Most incumbents weren't on the ballot. Even though this is something to get excited about, at the same token, I just want to caution Republicans, don't assume just because Biden is so miserable, we have things in the bag. Our President Trump did endorse in these races, but there was still very low voter turnout. The base showed up, not enough of the base showed up, but enough of the base to win showed up. He didn't have the same result, or I should say we didn't have the same result in Kentucky. So just because Trump endorses doesn't mean it's going to happen. All right. Some people love Trump. Some people hate Trump. And that's even within the Republican Party. I feel like it's almost a 50-50 split. So sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I really don't care about endorsements. What I care is that you show up. If you love your freedom enough, you're going to show up and vote. And please show up and vote. But he did endorse in this case, and it did help. There's no doubt that it helped. All right. But again, I would just caution people, don't use this as a bellwether for 2024, or we're going to get our butts kicked. That's why I don't mention all these polls all the time. And they even admit in the column that I read from the Federalist that they were taking from registered voters. The polls were from registered voters, which means the polls are crappy. All right, let's just be real. And then also recall just last month, Jeff Landry, the Republican, won back the governor's race because John Bel Edwards was term limited. So now we'll have the governor's mansion with the supermajority and state offices. So Louisiana, that's a state you can move to. All right. So more Republican victories last month as well. Lieutenant Governor, we had a victory in. The Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Mike Strain, they were reelected. Tim Temple was elected insurance commissioner. So there's no excuse for Louisiana to not be a well-oiled machine, red state machine. All right. Also, again, Trump endorsed all of the 3 statewide races, and they won. But again, just remember this, and it isn't to knock Trump. I'm glad he endorsed. But again, I guess it's regional, because Kentucky, it didn't happen, but it did happen here. So I don't know if people were just motivated to show up regardless of Trump, or if his endorsement made a huge difference. I would suspect that an endorsement in a place like Louisiana would make a difference. All right. I would suspect that. But again, not enough of the base showed up. Here's what Trump had to say. The 3 Republicans, quote, are outstanding in every way and have my complete and total endorsement. And this was, I think this was leading up to it. The GOP, or the Attorney General, representing the state in a variety of legal disputes. Oh, so basically they won the Attorney General's race. Again, Jeff Landry, who just won as governor last month, he won't become governor until January. But remember, he wanted a total abortion ban and no exceptions for cases of rape and incest, and they still turn the state the state blue. All right, or red. I'm sorry, completely red. On the campaign trail, the lady that's becoming is it Attorney General? I believe Attorney General. Yep. What does she have to say? She pledged to fight overreach by the federal government, defending the state's abortion ban and pushing a tough on crime rhetoric. She said, and I quote, "When I enter this race, I promise to protect families, our future, and our freedom, because these things are important to me. I know they are important to everyone in our state." She said, "I'm so humbled and I'm honored that the people of our state have chosen me to represent you and to fight for you." All right. Now, also the treasurer, he was a co-founder of the U.S. House Freedom Caucus with Ron DeSantis, and he also worked in the Trump administration. So President Trump has a friend in the state, the treasurer now in Louisiana. All right, so that could bode well in 2024. All right, so good stuff. So there's a lot to be thankful for on the Republican side. I'm glad I'm able to bring you some good news this week again. Just to recap here, the J6 videos have been released, and that is going to put a dent in the narrative of the left that this was an insurrection occurring at our Capitol. Nothing could be Nothing could be further for the truth. And then you have Republicans winning statewide elections in the state of Louisiana, and we have a supermajority and the governorship. You have the polls that suggest Biden is tanking, and it's even worse than the media is letting on, which explains why there are calls all of a sudden and all this criticism of Joe Biden, and maybe he should step aside, so on, etc., so they could get someone else in. That explains why Gavin Newsom is sitting there and cleaning up the poop and the homeless off the streets of San Francisco in order to meet Xi Jinping. All right, so this is not going well for Democrats. Also, their support, a lot of their supporters are anti-Jewish. So Jews in America, what are you going to do? I think you're faced with a serious question. Are you going to leave the Democrat Party? Are you going to stick around, hang around with the party that hates you no matter what you do? You're going to keep donating to these institutions, these colleges that hate you and that are popping out anti-Semites like nobody's business? It's time to really sit and think and answer these questions. And also, this is not great news, but at least I think it tells you how the left is threatened by Elon Musk and X, formerly known as Twitter. Obviously, it is more of a free speech platform, and the left don't have their hands completely controlled around it. So what are they going to try to do? They're going to try to bankrupt the endeavor, which tells you all you need to know. Get on X. They are terrified of X. Even if you become a paying member, listen, I'm okay with paying a little bit if I have a free speech platform. I don't want that to be the only platform. That's why I'm asking you guys to please go on Rumble and subscribe there. And wherever we are, please subscribe. Please help us to grow and to get our voice out. We would love to be heard. I had so many more headlines, but I'm not going to get to them today. Gabe is just a little too lazy today. Let me be real. All right, so we're just not going to get to them. But anyway, I'll be tweeting out or Xing out, however you want to say it. And then make sure you tune in tomorrow because we got that K9 COVID, that doggy COVID that I want to talk about it. I think when I say it, Gabe, I think I'll get more followers if I say it like a redneck, like doggy COVID. So we're going to talk about doggy COVID tomorrow. Anyway. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Until next time, do not grow weary doing good. God bless you.